It's time to get nerdy, y'all.
A little bit of gaming history for you.
Something relevant in gaming and discuss our opinions on it.
Should we kick it out of here, or should we kick-start it?
This is the part where you, the listeners, try to stump the hosts.
I'm not a lawyer. I just play one on a podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, lads and lasses of all ages, welcome to the show. It is Monday, April the 21st, and it is time to get nerdy, everybody. Welcome to episode 339 of Two Nerds in a Pod, the nerdiest gaming podcast in the multiverse. I am Macktion, one of your co-hosts, and I am joined this time, not by our usual Mr. Nice Guy 425, but by Ruckus of the Ruckus and the Menace podcast, longtime friend of the show, and we're thrilled to have him here with us while we talk about all the topics relating to video gaming, whether that's news, whether that's history, whether that's trivia or lawsuits or anything else. And I have clearly sent Ruckus into shock. But he's here, I promise.
I'm here.
Ruckus, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. I'm happy to be here. I'm always causing a ruckus with the Ruckus and the Sports podcast. Thank you guys for this collaboration.
Yeah.
I know Menace gets a little bit of the clout, doing the Game of the Year stuff. Us, we're starting to grow a little bit here and there, but
yeah.
I mean, it's a lot. We started 3 years ago. You guys started probably 10 years ago. I don't want to age you guys too much because
almost, but not quite. Yeah.
But yeah, it helps that my Kansas City Chiefs, I wouldn't say carried the podcast. I would say it was an equal playing field. Menace has his March, Octobers, and the NFL stuff that he did for the road to the Super Bowl race that we had. All the stuff that Menace has done has really just made Ruckus and the Menace a huge success.
Well, I'm just glad that we're finally getting you on the show. Because, yeah, Menace comes on, about once a year. But, Ruckus, it's nice to have you a fresh breath of air on here, even if my exposure to you thus far has been entirely limited to sports ball, upon which I am an expert, as you know. It is great to have that kind of expertise, your expertise, on the show.
That is definitely right.
And as an added bonus, I am also on your show?
Well, we shall see. But also, spoiler alert, you are on my show as well.
This just in, renowned sports ball expert Macktion is now guest appearance on the Ruckus and the Menace podcast. I knew it would happen.
Let's go.
But that's fantastic. Well, I'm happy to have you here. I'm also happy to be there with you. Crossovers. This is fantastic. Ruckus, tell you what, you want to hop right into this? You know me, my dude. I am terminally out of the loop. I never know what's going on in video gaming until Mr. Nice Guy tells me what's been going on in the news. And I am so grateful that you have agreed to be my crutch and to help me know what is up. What is up in video gaming, my dude?
There's a lot of things. Number one, there is the price gouging, the price increase on gaming. The Nintendo Switch is hey bro, I know you want Mario Kart World game. Do you want to pay $8 for it? So as a PC consumer, I'm probably you know what, it's probably not worth it because I'm probably not gonna get it on the Switch. I'm gonna wait till someone dumps the ROM and downloads it for an emulator. Let's say it's a game that actually shows up on PC, where it's Assassin's Creed Shadows.
Okay.
$70. The game that introduces the Switch to is a separate game. It's not free with the console. Wasn't there a robot game that came out for the PS5 to introduce what actually makes the PS5 what it is? It was Astrobot, I believe. I feel I probably would have paid more for that.
Well, could I ask you a question about the Switch pricing?
Sure.
As I said, not up on it, but on this show, rather, it would have been Mets Girl last time.
Right.
And we weren't 100% sure whether or not what the price was going to be of the Switch 2 because of tariff troubles and things like that.
Right.
Do we have any clarity on when pre-orders are going to open, the release date, or the price by chance?
The thing is, with tariffs, it's going to be weird because 4 months by now, it might come into effect, but you never know what Trump's going to do.
Sure.
I decided it's going to be extended, and then you're like, okay, when is it actually going to happen? But it depends on the greed, but also, like, I was looking at different prices on games for, like, the Switch 2, like,
Yeah.
the limited edition for this Damien Ex Machina game was like $100, and it's like, okay, where do you gouge out? But like, when you look at Mario Kart World right now on Best Buy, it says $80, and you're just like, okay, well, where do we draw the line? Do we make it $80, or do we make it $70, or do we make it $60? Like, what do you get differently from different games? Is where you kind of range the price of it.
Sure. And I mean, I know one game that everybody's been talking about for a bit has been, Hollow Knight Silk Song. We know that that's coming out on the Nintendo Switch, but I don't think we have any idea what it's being priced at. Surely it's not going to be priced at the $80 that we are expecting for Switch games, but we have no idea, do we?
Yeah, I can't even see it on the BestBuy.com listing.
Yeah.
That's where I'm like, okay, like, because, like, with PS5, like, they have, like, a reasonable price, like, pre-order for, like, Days Gone right now for $50, and it's like, okay, well, do you go for the higher price, or do you just... It's kind of like a toss-up at that point.
I guess question I have for you, you're the one who's plugged into the situation, Ruckus. If we throw to our weatherman, Mr. Ruckus, who is right now looking at the future of video game pricing, what's the forecast for us down there?
Well, Macktion, there's a huge price hike. Probably some tariffs are maybe gonna happen. We'll see. China is telling us one thing, but Trump is telling us another thing. But also, yeah, major price hikes. And even for games that are quadruple A titles from Ubisoft, may or may not be priced higher or lower than other things. It's weird because, like, it depends on when the game releases, number one. Number two, you have the hype of the release. So, and then later, number three, when you wait a little bit, hear me out.
Okay, I'm hearing you out.
It gets cheaper, and then you just wait, and then you just wait, and then you just wait. That's the way of how it goes.
It's true. That is definitely the dynamic for us who are on, say, PC gaming. We wait until there's a sale.
I mean, even on PS5, like, right now I'm looking at Best Buy and it says Star Wars Jedi Survivor Standard Edition is $20. There you go, PS5.
Nice.
Wait a little bit, get a discount. You don't have to get everything as it comes at launch.
Sure. Now, let's see. Jedi Survivors came out back in 2023. Was that like $70 on release or so?
It was probably $70, but I didn't get it at the launch because I waited, and I waited until Black Friday.
Waited for the sale.
Yeah.
100% agree. I've paid launch price for exactly 2 games in my life, I think. And one of them was Baldur's Gate 3. No regrets. And honestly, no regrets on the games that I've paid, release day price. But most of the time, I very much follow your patented third step, which is wait.
Definitely broken that rule where it was like, okay,
Sure.
I did it for content, like Madden for 1, and then MLB The Show for 2. Other than that, I was just like, you know what? I might as well wait and see what the reviews say for the port of that for PC. And I was waiting so long for MLB The Show, but it's just like, at this point, like, I still have the Series S, and I'm just chilling.
There's still so many unknowns, but that sounds like we've covered what we do know or what we expect for Nintendo. Were there any other news items that you also wanted to chat about? And you just tell me if you want to hear some history stuff.
I want to hear some history.
Ruckus, you shouldn't have given me the opening. All right, dude. We like to talk about the history of video games because it's hard to appreciate where we're going if we don't kind of look back at where we are, and that's what we do. Every sort of week we like to look back at games that came out this last week. Okay. Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna start with the least important games. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. It's just these are all very important. 1994, we had the release of Super Metroid for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. Fantastic game, amazing game. I've got a story or two to share, but I figured I'd ask: is Super Metroid a game that you feel passionately about, Ruckus?
Kinda, sorta. It's like kind of like how I felt whenever I went from Call of Duty and then started playing Halo, and it's like, okay, yeah, whatever. Like they have the pew-pews and whatever.
Pew-pews.
I'm not going to sugarcoat it, but I think Metroid would be pretty cool.
Yeah, Metroid is. I think it's pretty cool. My favorite genre of video games is what we call Metroidvanias, which is meant to evoke that both the sensibilities of Super Metroid of opening up areas through power-ups and being able to traverse new areas, and then, of course, the Castlevania side of it, the style of enemies and such. That sort of mashup, I just absolutely love those sensibilities. And Super Metroid is where we really got those vibes really nailed down. Love Super Metroid, love what it did. It's a top 100 game for sure. I'd say a top 50 game. Additionally, another top 100 game, always making the top lists, came out in 2006 for the GameCube, a game called Okami. Is this one that you've played by chance, Ruckus?
No, but did it come with a demo?
That's actually a fantastic question. I don't know. Did it?
If your Kickstarter didn't have a demo, well, no deal.
That's right.
I remembered that all this time. All right, let's keep going.
You did. Well, we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there for sure. But Okami, I don't think was kickstarted, so I'm not gonna hold it to the do you have a demo? But Okami is a beautiful, gorgeous game, right? You happen to be this sort of wolf spirit named Amaterasu who is going through a sort of fictionalized Japan. It's beautiful. The designs are nice, and it's very much based off of, there's a specific Japanese art style. I think it's called like a line ink or something along that. That the game was very much meant to evoke, and it was also, I first saw Okami after I had seen Princess Mononoke for the first time, and so those themes about the wild wilderness and such very much play heavily in Okami. I first played it on the Nintendo Wii, so I got to use motion controls to do it, but they have this thing where you, even on the GameCube, you would like go from moving around in the three-dimensional world, and then you would sort of pause and you could use a paintbrush to sort of draw whirlwinds or power slashes or these sorts of things that played very well on the Nintendo Wii. Although it is noteworthy that just as a sort of Nintendo never saves anything, when they were trying to port the game from the GameCube to the Wii, they actually, number one, didn't have all of the source code because they like threw it in the garbage after they got rid of the team that put together Okami on the GameCube. So the porting company had to basically reconstruct the game. But they also wound up using, for like the cover art of the game on the boxes, they used a thing that had an IGN watermark on it because they didn't have the original cover either. And it wasn't until a little bit later till people were like, hey, why is there an IGN watermark on the cover, the cover for the Nintendo Wii? And they're like, our yeah, we're bad. Send us a thing and we'll send you a new cover. Case number 573 of why you can't trust Nintendo to hang on to stuff, people.
I remember seeing the like Game of the Year things for like different. I don't know if it was just like the age of when that game was released that would show it like on the back cover, but I remember seeing that on like PC covers for like Payday and whatnot.
You can get it like on Steam for $20, an HD version. Last one, and definitely one of the real big ones. 1982 was the year, so we're going back to the arcade, okay? Is a game called Dig Dug. Now, I have a completely different question, and I promise that this connects. I promise you it connects. But Ruckus, tell me, do you know who has the biggest music hit of all time? At least according to Billboard. The biggest music hit of all time.
I got nothing for you, but no Dig Dug.
Okay. The answer, according to Billboard, is The Twist by Chubby Checker. Now, that was back in the 60s, okay? Yeah, well, let's do The Twist, and that's all we can do for copyright reasons. Dude was bigger than Jesus, as they would say in the music business, at least if you're a Beatle. What is so surprising is that I feel like this day and age, we do not go as hard in advertising as they did back in the 80s. Because they, no foolin', had a song for Dig Dug to be done in the advertisements, and they got Chubby Checker, again, quite possibly, the biggest sort of single hit in music, to voice it. And then they promptly paid the man to do the song, and then promptly never used it. And then it wasn't until like 2014 that somebody going through their stuff found the the like one existing cassette tape with Chubby Checker doing the Dig Dug song actually exists. Anyway, preservation's important, folks. We can't rely on cassette tapes in there. But anyway, Dig Dug, a game that I always found terrible in the arcade. I did not like Dig Dug. I know. Ruckus, clearly you disagree with me, my dude. You love Dig Dug?
Honestly, I think Dig Dug was part of my childhood, but also Galaga was the best.
Mm-hmm.
I could get at least to level 2 without killing myself through the major lasers that would shoot at me, but yeah. I was also doing this, like, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, where he goes...
That eyebrow.
Anyways, we can keep going if you want.
No. So that is what I had for history this week. Just a few of the most, what I think, perhaps pivotal titles. Maybe Dig Dug wasn't for me, but maybe it was for you. But that's history. So, Ruckus, we want to talk some 3D stuff, don't we?
Yes, sir. So, do we want to know about the origin of how I became a 3D print god?
Yes, please, and thank you. Tell us, dude, how did you become a 3D print god?
Well, let me tell you. My forefather... No, I'm just kidding. So, I started in 2021. Micro Center, the one near mine, decided that they would have a deal where it's like $100 or $200 for like an Inner 3v2. Spoiler alert, I spent way too much more than I needed to for that printer because I was like, okay, I'm thinking long run, am I going to use this? And also, are the upgrades worth it? So, spoiler alert, they weren't. I bought an Inner 3v2. That was my starter printer. I had to learn how to manually level the bed, and if you don't know what that means, don't worry about it, because by the time you hear this episode, they have it automated to where you just buy a printer that has it already. You don't have to worry about it, thank the Lord. And then 2 years later, I bought a Anycubic Viper that saved my life when it came to the 3D printing community, but also just my experience with it. And then I went to the Bambi Labs printers, and I was very hesitant at first because it was a Kickstarter program, and it was from the people that did DJI, the drone company that Casey Neistat and many others went through. And then I went to a P1P, which was the like budget X1 Carbon, because the X1 Carbon was their Kickstarter that they did, and the X1 Carbon, I was like, well, do I really want to pay this much money just to realize that this thing may or may not work out? And it did, and it worked out pretty well. Like, the X1 Carbon is still selling for thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
The P1S, if you get that with the AMS combo, which, by the way, the AMS system works pretty well with filaments. We'll get into that here in a second.
Real quick, AMS acronym, I'm not familiar with that. I'm familiar with ABS, which is a type of plastic.
Right. AMS is a automatic material system. So what it does is, so PLA is like your normal run-of-the-middle filament, and then you have PETG, which is more of like the less temperature-resistant filament. So like, if you had something that really had to resist like heavy temperatures, like flames or whatever, I don't know what you're doing like at that point. PLA is like the easier filament to print with. ABS, you can still print with that on whatever printer with the Bamboo Labs. But yeah, the AMS mainly just runs PLA and PETG for your filaments. But the nice thing about it is the multicolor filament kind of saga that's going on, or what was going on like a couple of years ago when I was looking at it. There were some people from the UK that were looking into doing it, and you could like retrofit it to like the older 3D printers and whatnot. But when I was looking at the Bamboo Lab stuff, their offering was you could do up to like 20 colors between like 4 different like filaments, whatever. I was like, why not I try that? But ever since then, it's gone crazy. It's gone through a wildfire. Their whole ecosystem has gone through many different things. You can make posters on there. You can make stuff that's actually practical. You could make anything. It's 3D is what you make your mind up to. That's what I think in 3D printing. You just gotta figure it out and find out. And if it doesn't work, then you tinker it. If it does work, you do. I have this fox from Minecraft that was articulated from some guy that made it, and
Was that a print-in-place model?
Yes, sir.
Nice.
So, like, there's other things I didn't print in place, like, so this, like, Aku box from Crash Bandicoot.
Oh, that's fantastic.
I, super glued the little sides there. So, this, box right here actually takes about 4 hours because it has, like, this weird fuzzy texture to it that you wouldn't really notice. This Bulbasaur that I made, like, as a shiny, it takes about probably, like, a day and a half to do. Like, it definitely differs on, like, the size of the filament, or not the size of the filament, like, the size of the object, plus the colors and whatnot. So, mileage may vary.
Oh, yeah, and once you're talking about that, volume, it just, as you scale up, that print time just ramps up.
And not even that. So fast forward to nowadays, there's a Bamboo Labs printer that just came out called the H2D. And you might be wondering, okay, why is that different to the, was it the
H1D?
Well, the MakerBot was what I was thinking of, because there was a MakerBot that actually made 2 extruders. They used 2 extruders to do, I think it was, their thought was it was more like 2 extruders go at the same time and it's like quicker in general. Well, the Bamboo Labs H2D is 2 extruders, but the dimensions are really, really, really weird. Where you get a big build plate, but there's a separate distance between one extruder to another, but they could be different colors or different types of filament. So it's like really weird, and like that's where it's weird to draw the line, because like if you had one nozzle and you had the set dimension, it's like, okay, we can probably do this or that, like you can make it higher, you can make it lower, you can make it just whatever size you need it to be. But with 2, it's like, okay, you have one side that's divided to one separate color and one divided set to another standard color, so it's like, okay, how do we limit this? How do we reduce the waste? And that's what definitely can be a issue with H2D, but
Yeah, I'll bet.
it also can be a laser engraver, it can be like a wood engraver, but I think most people are going to probably use it as a 3D printer.
Oh, sure. You just gotta swipe that out with a laser. So it's interesting because, like, if anybody who's listening to this or watching this has never used a 3D printer before, it's something amazing to behold. Just watching a spool of plastic get, extruded and layer by layer, slice by slice, having a three-dimensional object created out of it feels like magic the first few times that you've watched it.
Or if you're like me and you had a Enter 3v2, you see that one piece of plastic and it just like hangs onto the tool head, and then you're like, come on, stick to the thing, and then you just go, screw all that. We're gonna get an automated one that like slowly but surely pinpoints, because like the early models of the Anycubic Viper that I messed with were like, okay, they go by pressure sense. And I feel like most 3D printers nowadays do pressure sense where it just like hits it from different sides. But for me, you had to manually level it and then again level it again when you were actually starting the print. And sometimes it didn't work, and sometimes I would have a tantrum, and it was not good.
Or sometimes you turn your back for a second, and that build adhesion on those first couple of layers isn't quite right, and then it sticks there, and then that little hanging bit of filament catches, and then whoop, just pulls it straight off. I have lost several prints.
Have you had that horror story where it's just a big-ass glob of filament that just hits the tool head? I hated that so much.
Thankfully not. I've been able to catch it enough, but that's because like I'm always keeping it running. Back when I had so
you're right at the catch.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just right there. So I will say I don't have a bunch of 3D printed items around me like you do, ready to go, but I do have this one. That I hold my dice in.
That's sick.
Almost everything that I 3D print, I winds up being either video game or tabletop gaming related. And so...
Dude, that's awesome. Like, I have a Marble Run thing that I have at my parents' house, but I also tried to make it myself. Like, they have a kit from Bamboo Lab that you can actually make from that. And you can... They had, like... There was some third-party guy that added add-ons to that Marble Run, and it was so cool, just, like, going through all that experience.
Well, and it's also, I feel like, a testament to just the nerdy things, the nerdy passions, right? People out there making their own versions of Brian from Family Guy, for example. Or making their own 3D models of foxes, or some of the South Park kids. Don't remember which one
that's
is.
Stan Marsh, so that's okay.
Spyro the Dragon, of course.
With one eye.
Well, he lost the other eye in battle.
But Psyduck.
And Psyduck, of course.
Oh, snap. Can I go further? Oh, yeah. Crash Bandicoot.
Crash Bandicoot, of course, yeah. Oh, fantastic. So
Crash
Bandicoot is actually Mrs. the Mack's favorite game series of all time. And so
I 3D printed that too. If you want one, we can talk about it after the pod.
Oh, we are talking about it because there's a birthday coming up, so we're going to have words. 3D printing is one of those things that, like, is a way for us to get the sort of, like, the items, the things that we've, in some places, only ever experienced in like, a video game, and bring them into real life in a lot of ways. It feels like magic when you're watching it happen for the first time, and it takes ages.
I'm just adding on to the pressure of 3D print things, people. It's not... the worst thing in the world. It's awesome.
Well, dude, thanks for taking us on a journey through, through 3D printing. Earlier this weekend, I helped the folks at the local public library. They got themselves a 3D printer, and I helped them get it set up because somebody told somebody else that I had done it before. So tech support right here. Woo!
And tech support for me too, because like a coworker was asking me, so like their wife was a architect or is a architect major, and they were looking at I think probably one of the courses was like 3D printing or whatever, and they're like, hey, can you get me a cheap 3D printer that's actually reliable? And I was like, sure, here you go. And then here you go. But 3 years ago or 2 years ago, it was very hard to like really tell because of the market and just what the local stores had. But nowadays, it's like super easy. You can just order it online, you know.
I'm a very hands-on type of person, so I like kind of the ones that you do have to level the bed, because I feel like that's part of the experience.
Yeah.
But hey, you know, don't take my word.
Well,
for
there's
it.
also like different weird ones where it's like, okay, you gotta like put the nozzle on this point, and that point, and you're just like, okay, well, is this actually gonna do it? But like, it's gotten to a really good point in the evolution of it.
We've come a long way, and all good things. Well, I appreciate you taking us on that journey through 3D printing. Ruckus, can I take you on a journey to a Kickstarter project?
Sure, let's do it.
All right, I've gone ahead and put a link in our discussion for this Kickstarter project. So what we're looking at here is a little bit different. It's not video gaming, but it is still a fun little something. It's called a Pharaoh pet. All right, and the idea here is that this is meant to be a kid's toy. For me, it evokes a lot of things like Mighty Max or also a little bit of Digimon. Okay, so stick with me. You're not maybe doing any fighting, but what it is it is a toy that is based around a bunch of iron filings, a magnet, and a simple microcontroller. And housed inside of this dome, you can interact with a little magnetic wand, kind of like those old things that we used to add drawings on a board. You would go ahead and gather some of those up and put it into one spot, hit the button to feed the pet, and it'll go over and, you know, grab onto the additional filings.
I'm looking at the Kickstarter right now, and I'm just like, This is so cute.
I know, right? Say to clean up. Look, it is a pile of iron shavings. There's also, you can like play ball with it, but like it's a little magnetic, a small microcontroller, some plastic, but it is undeniable that there is some charm here. So with just a little bit of that explanation, I encourage you to go take a look at the Kickstarter project itself if you're listening after the fact. It's a purely physical product. A $30 minimum buy-in if you wanted one of these. That's $29 on the Kickstarter, $30. After the early bird window closes, then it's like $35 for them. And they're expecting to ship these things out in October. But it's a cute little beastie. And, you know, $30, it feels about the right price for something like this. I don't have any kids myself, but I do have plenty of nieces and nephews, and I can absolutely imagine that they would get a kick out of this, and it would entertain them, at least for a little while.
I know that feeling.
That's all I really have to say about Pharaoh Pets. Now, obviously, you have alluded to it before. Mack always asks whether or not there's a playable demo, and I'm sad to say that there is not a playable demo in this one, although there are some videos of the of the various prototypes, and of course there's a lot of videos about this specific Pharaoh pet as well. But it isn't entirely based on what I think. Ruckus, you're here, my dude. What do you think about this? You said it looks cute, yeah?
It does definitely look cute. It's definitely, like, it could be a fad. It could be, like, a gimmick. I think, give it a shot. Why not? Like, there's a lot of things that are I feel like there's a lot of things that could be repetitive, and I think this is definitely not repetitive. It's definitely something creative. The outside of it looks like a cat's paw.
Ah, yeah, I can see that.
I think it'd just be like a very creative, cute little thing. Like, I feel like Target might have it like a year from now. Who knows?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Who knows? It does look cute. It is a surprising application of some simple magnets and some stuff. It's at least as good of an idea as pet rocks. And those had surprising potential. I don't know. I think $30 is not too much to risk on a physical product like this. I think I'm down. I think I'd say kickstart on this guy. As luck would have it, many people have already said so, as they had a $50,000 goal to make the initial run, and they're already at $112,000 with still 23 days left to go. So there is time. If you, like us, find the Pharaoh Pets charming, you can get in on this train. So, yeah. Well, that's been Kicker Kickstart for us. Ruckus.
Uh-oh.
We've got ourselves a bit of a challenge right now. Because we've got two things, right? We've got it's a sound test episode, which means there's a mystery sound to put it out there for people to guess. But we actually earlier this year started sunsetting the older sound tests. So we're only keeping about a 10 sound test window open, which means we've got an old sound test to say goodbye to and a new sound test to bring in. Ruckus, I have sent you the file for the mystery sound from episode 299. And do you want to be the last person to take a go at 299 and see if you can guess it?
All right, we'll play it here in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh, yeah!
After you make your guess, there are no more guesses on this one.
Kool-Aid Man going, oh yeah, with the breaking the bricks.
A fantastic guess. However, unfortunately, that's not it. Does the Kool-Aid Man even have any video games?
You know what? I never thought about that, and oh my god.
Maybe he does. But this particular sound comes from Jet Set Radio Future, a game in this particular version from the Xbox. So episode 299 is off of the table. But we are bringing in a new one now. This episode 339 mystery sound. And Ruckus, as my co-host today, you also have first dibs if you want to take a guess. But for anybody out there who's listening, you can, write in, contact us on the social medias, let us know that you're guessing on episode 339's sound test. And you'll win a prize lovingly handcrafted by me, perhaps like this Ghastly here, and sent to your door. Ruckus.
That's so cute.
Thank you. Have a go. Let's see if you got it.
Don't touch the bomb.
It's giving me like Halo vibes. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay. That's all we'll say, but if you think you know where this mystery sound comes from, then let us know. You could have a perler. From me to you. Well, okay, with the sound test out of the way, Ruckus, I think you've got some trivia questions from the test bank for us to be challenged by, yes?
Yes, I do. And if it's on the flashcard thing, right?
Yes, indeed.
All right.
And I'd hit the random button a couple of times, because the first one is always the same one.
Oh, shuffle.
Oh, shuffle. Yeah, that's it.
All right. Final Fantasy 14.
Okay. I know nothing about this game.
What is the name of the field in which Gao gains new abilities? I think GAE.
Gao? Let's see. Well, if it's it's probably Final Fantasy VI. So I know that the character in Final Fantasy VI, Gao, that he gains abilities in a field called the Veld, I believe. At least, I'm pretty sure. 70% sure. Of course, if this is Final Fantasy XIV, I got no idea, and it's just a shot in the dark. Any guesses from you?
I have no idea.
Okay, well, go ahead and flip that to side 2, and we'll see.
You were correct!
Woo! Yeah! Okay, that's one for one. Can we keep this train rolling?
Perhaps. Alright, here's the next one. Rockstar.
Okay.
In GTA 5, what is the name of the countryside country, or county?
I've never really played that many Grand Theft Auto games, and I've especially not played this one, so I'm gonna have to rely on you, my dude.
Because there was Los Santos, and there was, I should know this because I played GTA for so long.
Is it something like Vice City?
No, that's way out.
Okay.
Because North Yankton was before GTA 5, because it's like the prequel to that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, see, I knew that.
San Bernardine, maybe? Let's see. Flip it. Oh, Blaine County.
Ah.
I screwed up.
No worries. Hey, look, I was completely lost, so you'll get no shade from me. Well, let's go for a third one. See if we can't redeem it best of 3.
Alright, Sonic. What racing game does the player use Kinect controls Sonic? Sonic Kinect.
I mean, yeah, that sounds like a perfectly... I have no idea. That sounds like a perfectly good guess.
Are you ready?
Oh, yeah. I'm ready for us to find out.
Sonic Freeriders.
Sonic Free Riders. Okay. All right, well, look, we may have missed a couple of questions, but unless you, listening to this after the fact, were shouting the correct answers, you missed a couple ones too. And if you tune in for the live show on twitch.tv/shootersinapod most Mondays at 7 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Central, then you could stump us with your specific nerdy trivia questions. But until then, it's the test bank for us, and 1 out of 3, that ain't bad. Well, thank you very much, Ruckus, for bringing those trivia questions for us. I have just one last thing I want to talk about. We call this some legalese.
Legalese!
You, Mr. Nice Guy had better watch out. You're coming for his job. I'm not a lawyer, as you know, neither in the United States nor in Japan, but the law has a sort of outsized impact on how we play games and how those games come to us. What we have to talk about today is a little thing called Nintendo v Pocket Pal. You may know that there is some kerfuffle about Pokemon and Pal World. And time for just a little bit of oversimplification, but it's worth it to keep in mind that a patent is usually granted to protect a design or invention that you've made. A copyright is usually meant to protect a specific creative work or creative expression, like a movie or a book or something. And a trademark is usually conveyed to protect a name in a specific context. So often in a video game, there's a little bit of everything. So it came as a bit of a surprise when Nintendo decided to come at Pal World with patents. Patents covering their, I will put air quote, inventions, such as, and Ruckus, let me see what you think about this, capturing something and then using it to fight. Did you realize that was a concept that Nintendo invented?
Honestly, yeah.
Ah, I see. Or how about the notion of smoothly switching between rideable mounts? That's a concept that Nintendo, an invention, a design that Nintendo invented.
Sounds like Monster Hunter invented that first, but we'll see what happens with Nintendo. That was my Blaine.
Indeed.
That was my Blaine Shatner impression there.
Well, there's something out on the wing. Anyway, sorry, that's too deep of a pull. That was one of Shatner's early works. So those two concepts that I just described are covered by 3 patents in Japan, wherein Nintendo claims that they basically invented it. And a few days ago, Pocket Pair responded with their claims with two prongs of attack. First, those patents should have never been granted because the idea, the concept wasn't invented by Nintendo. They already existed in the form of prior art. This would be things like, for example, if let's say you were Apple and you were saying, oh, hey, I am the one who invented tablets. And you, Ruckus, say, but wait, back in the 90s, Star Trek invented tablets with the tablets that they kept walking around with and reading from and doing computer stuff on. Additionally, these prior art can serve to be like, hey, we didn't have to copy you in order to get to the same spot. We could have both seemed the same things and got there. Similarly, the other tactic that they've gone through is to just really drill down and say, hey, look, so what? Maybe you did design or invent that. Okay, good for you. We didn't even do it the same way you did it. You do it this process, we do it a completely different process. We're not infringing on your patents either. So where are we now with this? What we know so far is we know what tactic Nintendo is trying to use to shut down Pal World because of doing Pokemon better, than Nintendo was. And now we know how Pocket Pair is responded, and we will see when they get their day in court which tactic, which way... We will see when they get their day in court which of these arguments the judges chooses.
I think it's kind of silly how Nintendo's just limiting themselves.
Yeah.
They can make their brand more open rather than being closed, but I get where their culture has been. It's just like, okay, we want either a console or something that's mobile that's also a console or something else. But the Switch 2, I think, will probably propel them a little bit, but I don't know by how much because everyone's got the first rendition of it and the OLED.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, who knows? Sometimes I think I understand Nintendo, but other times I just really, really don't.
I hate the new DRM kind of standard they're gonna have with, like, sharing the cartridges. Like, I think it was, like, a 15-day thing that they do, where it's, like, you have to share it with the accounts. I just don't know how that's gonna go. And also, even then, like, it's like, okay, you buy the physical cartridge, but, like, part of it also still has to download from the internet, like a DLC or whatnot. Like, I think Cyberpunk is starting with that, with the Switch 2.
Well, and some of the cartridges don't even have any of the data at all.
Right.
All they will be is an unlock key code, so it's like, what even was the point in a physical cartridge?
I wonder if it even costs similar to, like, a digital download. Like, even then, like, they could still gouge that to, like, a certain price point. It doesn't have to be close to the physical point. They can just go higher if they want. Just depends.
Yeah. I wish I understood. If I understood Nintendo, my gosh, this would be the biggest gaming podcast ever. Everybody would be here, dude. Everybody would be like, oh, let's come for Mack's predictions. But, you know, it's just wild to me. I wish I understood, but I just... Either way, I appreciate you sticking with me through all that. The law is weird. Nintendo's weirder. And that's legalese. What have you been up to lately?
I've been mainly into Schedule 1. My friend gifted the game to me, but dude, it is worth the price that you pay on Steam or whatever platform it's on. It's a lot of fun. Schedule 1 is about a game where you grow and produce cannabis products, marijuana, and yeah, so you kind of like grow your empire through that, and then it goes into even crazier things, which we won't get into in this episode, but like, it's just addicting because you're just like waiting for things to happen, and then the sales happen, and then you're like wanting to grow into like a bigger area to like make more, and that's Schedule 1. It's
So very much like a business management or resource management type game, huh?
Yeah. As far as TV shows, I would say Severance is my favorite.
Oh.
Did the free trial on Apple TV Plus, like, probably about a couple weeks ago, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna, like, binge watch Severance episode 1 and 2, or not episode 1 and 2, seasons 1 and 2, and my god, it was the best thing ever. I bet you if I probably was, like, into the, or thinking about investing more into Severance, I probably would have been like, man, I really wish I, like, paid the subscription service, but my best friend put me into it, and he was like, hey, man, like, Severance is a pretty good series, you should try it, and I was like, okay, here we go. First couple episodes is pretty good, but, wait, it gets better, and that's where I'm gonna leave the spoilers free. Anyways.
Yeah, no, that's probably for the best. I hear there's a lot of twists in that show.
So good. It's so good.
Yeah, no, on this side, I've been playing an oldie but a goodie, a game called Evo Land. I mentioned it on last episode of the show, and I was like, you know what? There are a couple achievements that I still don't have in that game, so I started a new file and started going for it. And that's pretty much the only thing I've been playing. Watching, though, I've mostly just been watching a little bit of television. There's a British game show called Taskmaster that's real fun that I enjoy. Also, a couple things on Dropout TV like Dimension 20 and Smarty Pants lately. Those are both... Game Changer is very much in the same type of vein as Taskmaster. I've got a type of comedy show that I particularly like, so no surprises there. But yeah. But excellent things to look into. I'll have to take a look into Schedule 1. It's funny because when you first started talking about it and you're like, Schedule 1, I'm just like, I wonder why you would name a game about that, because like schedules, those are drugs. And
right.
And hey,
by the way,
yeah. So Ruckus, we've come to the end of the show, my dude. It's been a wild ride. Nintendo, 3D printing, little pets made out of magnetic shavings, and who knows what's going on with the Switch 2. But I appreciate you being here for, to make this happen, to make this episode happen, episode 339.
I'm glad to collaborate, and this was...
Yeah.
I was super excited from the get-go, but I just wasn't sure how things would pan out, but hey, man, life's too short, make the most of it, and also just...
Heck yeah.
It's been a blast, and I love helping out, but also shout out to Menace for the creation, but also Alex, man, for making this kind of thing happen. Without him, it wouldn't have been the Ruckus and Menace. It wouldn't have been the support that we've had altogether, but also just the thumbnails that he created. Like, he's a godsend.
Alex, man's good people, but so are you. And, of course, to a much less extent, Menace.
Yeah, Menace.
No, I love Menace as well.
Boo! No, I'm just kidding.
It's been good to have you, dude. Is there anything you want to plug before we say good night?
All right, Ruckus and Menace Sports Podcast. Check us out on Tuesdays. Also, check out our other series like March, October, and Road to the Super. Check us out then. We'll see you guys later.
Yeah, take care, and thanks once again, and we'll catch you next time. Until we see you then, though, keep it nerdy, and good night.